What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Seton Hill Studios. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Today, we're going to be checking out Stevie Ray Vaughan doing Texas Flood live from El Macombo. Honestly, haven't listened to a ton of Stevie Ray's music. This is another one of those situations where he influenced a lot of my favorite guitar players, but I never really sat down with his catalog and really listened to it. I love the blues, love blues players, just never really got into Stevie Ray Vaughan. I feel like all that's going to change today. I have not heard Texas Flood. I've heard like Pride and Joy and a few other ones, but I've never heard this song, and I've definitely never seen it live. So I'm sure it's going to be quite the experience. I know he's an insanely talented player with a ton of feel, great licks, an amazing tone, so it's going to be an experience. But before we get into it, few ways you guys can continue to support the channel. If you head on over to Patreon or right here on YouTube, you can become a channel member. Both of those are going to get you access to all sorts of exclusive perks, features, and priority requests. And as always, with a one-time donation through Buy Me a Coffee, you can get a priority request that either Steven or I will react to right here on the channel. All right, y'all, let's get into it. All right, y'all, here we go. Stevie Ray Vaughan doing Texas Flood live at the El Macombo. Let's see what it's all about. This tone is out of this world. I forgot about that reverse whammy bar. So, as a guitar player already, this is a treat, man. He really is incredible. I've never doubted that. I've always known that. I just never really took the time to sit down and listen. I was always into more like prog stuff or like just really, really over the top, like virtuoso guitar players. And that's not to take anything away from him. He's incredible. But like early on as I'm learning guitar, I really got into Eric Johnson and John Petrucci and Andy Timmons. And so you can kind of see how like my interest as a younger guy like shifted into that vein of guitar playing, where as a young kind of naive kid, it's like, oh, well, he's just playing the blues. It's not as cool as this stuff. But the reality is that it is. He's working that pentatonic scale like nobody's business. Just the licks that he was playing. His phrasing is really good. He's also really good at repetition, without making it boring. So there was multiple licks in there where he was just repeating the same pattern or the same lick multiple times, but it wasn't like, oh, he's just running a scale, or oh, he's just playing some licks. Like, you can see like he's into what he's doing, and he's doing everything really purposefully, and he's just feeling it. And it just, it wasn't repetition for the sake of repetition. It was repetition because it sounded good, and it wasn't stale. His tone is thick. Like, I know, he plays loud amps with tube screamers. Obviously he's playing a Strat, and but I've heard that he played like 12s or 13s on his guitar, which is insane. That would just break my little tiny fingers trying to play with that. I'd be tore up. But his tone is thick. I also didn't realize just off that first line, I'm like, okay, he can like actually really sing too. I didn't know that he was that good of a singer. I mean, like I said, I've heard like Pride and Joy, and he sings on that, but like just in that first line, like he's got some grit and some power in his voice, emotion, singing this stuff. Wow.
Well, it's flooding down in Texas. All of the telephone lines are down. Well, it's flooding down in Texas. All of the telephone lines are down. Well, I've been trying to call my baby. Lord, I can't get a single sound. A rolling.
I love that little transition there.
Well, dark clouds are rolling. Man, and I'm standing out in the rain.
There's that repetition again, man. Ah.
Well, the water keep a rolling. Man's about to drive past Stevie Ray inside.
He can ring so much out of one note. So, hey, John Mayer's faces ain't got nothing on this dude's faces. I tell you, I know John Mayer was a big Stevie Ray fan, huge influence on him as well. Clearly in the facial expressions, not just the guitar playing. Man, this dude's got the stank face mastered. But it's so cool, man. Like it you can tell it's genuine. Like he is emotionally invested in his guitar playing. The guitar is just an extension of him, which I think is just super cool. He all of the licks and all of the talent and the technical stuff aside, like he's connected to the music, which just makes it, again, I know I find myself saying this more and more often the more and more artists that I find and listen to, but when you see somebody that's like really connected with what they're doing and then they're enjoying it and they're like emotionally invested and attached to the music, it makes it that much more engaging, and it just draws you in that much more. He he's working that pentatonic scale, man. Like I know it's just a pentatonic scale, but he's making it. He's got all those extra blue notes in there that kind of make it the blues scale. Tons of cool accidentals. He's working his way through minor and major pentatonics really seamlessly and interchangeably depending on where he's at in the chord progression. I love the fact that the bass player kind of took over like the standard blues progression that you normally hear on a guitar, and he's kind of walking that through while he's soloing. It looked like there was about to be a huge dynamic shift where he brought it down because he's been up. Like his solo's been up pretty much this entire time. So it'd be cool. I feel like I paused at an opportune moment before he went round 17 on this guitar solo. But he's working that thing, man. And he knows where he wants to be. The range as far as where he's at on the fretboard. He's incorporating chords and double stops. His thumb is in constant position so that no matter what lick he's doing, he can always go back to that root on the low E string and hit it just for some emphasis and for some oomph. And his low strings are so tight and clear and percussive sounding. His tone is just incredible. All right, I'm going to roll it back a couple seconds, get into this softer section it sounded like. Bro. He's probably lost 10 pounds in sweat. I love how you can hear the noise of his guitar. It's when you know that it's just loud. Quick tuning, no big deal. Just lay on his back now, no big deal. So one of the cool things that I've noticed is I don't know that he's actually even stepped on a pedal this entire time. He's been working his volume knob and his pickup selector switch to get all of these different tones, so that he can just kind of keep the focus on the instrument and everything, like at a fingertip, move around the stage, do whatever he needs to do while he's soloing and not have to worry about pedals. And he's got a phenomenal, just kind of bass tone that he can just work. He cleaned it up with his volume knob. He's getting those big ripping lead tones by flipping it out to the bridge pickup, and then he's swinging it back to the neck pickup to get more of that traditional bluesy tone for those licks. And that's when you got a great tone, when your pickup selector switch and your volume knob is all you need to get all, three distinctly different sounds. And it's all just coming from his guitar. He knows his instrument. He knows his amps. He knows his playing. Even his picking dynamics as well can completely change the sound. When you're playing with these loud tube amps and, they're super responsive, the way that you attack the strings with the pick makes a huge difference in the amount of gain that comes out. You can clean up your tone by just rolling your volume back a little and not striking the string so hard. And he's got that technique down to a science. Like, he can get whatever tone he wants just with his hands, and a flip of a volume, or a flip of a pickup selector switch and a little roll of the volume. It's incredible. The behind the back stuff is cool too. At first I was thinking like, oh, well, he's playing it safe. He's being smart. He's just staying in kind of that root pentatonic position. And then he just starts walking chords up and doing double stop stuff. And I'm like, oh, well, he didn't need to play it safe. I would have played it safe, but no need for him to play it safe. He's a beast. All right, let's wrap it up.
Well, back on my nose, like a tornado. Baby, the sun shines every day.
I said it was going to be an experience, and I wasn't wrong. Wow, that was a heck of a performance, man. He's the real deal. There's no wonder why he's been such a heavy influence on some of my favorite guitar players. Again, his influence on me was more indirect through people like Andy Timmons, Eric Johnson, Eric Gales, John Mayer, those folks. But after going back and really listening to him and like giving it a good critical listen, his influence is written all over them, and the phrasing and the licks and the tone. He's incredible, man. The behind the back stuff was cool. I thought he was going to play it safe. But then he just starts going bananas, and then he's singing, he's hitting all these crazy licks. He ends up just finishing the song with the guitar really behind his back. He brought it back for a second, then he threw it back around. So cool. His honestly, the thing that marked me the most, other than his tone, and I had no idea how good of a singer he was, it was really just like he had such a fantastic use of repetition. He wasn't afraid to just play the same lick twice or run the same phrase twice. But every time he did it, it felt different, depending on the section of the song. Like, at no point was I like, man, I wish he would play something else other than the pentatonic scale. I was like, man, show me more of what I've been missing all these years in the pentatonic scale, because you clearly know something that I don't. But just an incredible performance. He was sweating up a storm, man. He had to be worn out. Surely this was pretty late into whatever gig or live performance this was, because he was working it, man. He was into it. Again, emotionally connected to his music. I don't know if that was an original song or if that was, like a blues standard that he covered or whatever. I really don't have a clue. Let me know in the comments if you know. But man, definitely been missing out. I'm gonna have to check out more of him for sure. Move him from a indirect influence to a direct influence on my playing, because that was unreal. All right, y'all. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so every time we drop new content, you guys could be made aware. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.